talking about the situation up front with the strikers, Lukaku leaving, you would think Chelsea really need a backup striker, and that's why they're targeting Gabriel Jesus. However, the reports that have come out in the last few days are Arsenal are looking the most likely team to sign Gabriel Jesus by the end of this transfer window. And with Chelsea not having a lot of options in that, you would expect a team like Chelsea to maybe call back, Armando Broja, use him for the next season. However, not call back, actually, he was to come back because it was a loan. But the reports that we're hearing about him going to West Ham for around 25 to 30 million, and even talks of him being, a roadway to Declan Rice coming to Chelsea by the end of this transfer window. Do you think this is the right choice by Chelsea? Because as a Chelsea fan, I'm confused myself, because I want Declan Rice at almost any cost, not the high cost of what West Ham are asking, but at the same time, I don't want to lose someone like Armando Broja at a time where Werner isn't performing the way he should be, scoring 20-odd goals. And with Lukaku leaving, we're not going to be left with many options. And Havertz not being a natural striker, however, has performed well in that position.
Yeah, I mean, the situation with Rice should be separated, because West Ham are still staunchly against selling pretty much for any price unless someone comes in with an astronomical offer. So to think that Broja could be the difference between getting Rice and not getting Rice is a little bit of a stretch. And I think that will be very much a straight transfer if West Ham choose to pursue it. And then with Rice, I still don't think he's available in this window regardless. And somebody would have to make an astronomical offer of upwards of 120 million, in my opinion, before West Ham even consider. And even when those kind of figures have been banded around, West Ham sources continue to just say not for sale. And I think they may be doing a very similar tactic to my club with Riyad Mahrez when he thought that he was going to join Chelsea, and he left the Algeria training camp in a January window, and his people said he was off to Stamford Bridge, and yet Leicester just held firm and said, no, I don't care what anyone offers, we're keeping him. And then obviously Mahrez ended up having to play for Leicester for a bit longer and went to Manchester City. So don't be surprised if West Ham pull a similar tactic, and regardless of rumours that you hear, Rice is just not available. And then with Broja, my understanding has been very consistent from Chelsea sources, long even before Clearlake Bowley came in, and that's that Thomas Tuchel was very impressed by what he did in the loan spell at Southampton and wants to at least assess him during pre-season. And if a ready-made replacement for Lukaku isn't available quickly, then it's not in Chelsea's interest to let Broja go, because he might be the kind of player that Chelsea want to start the season with, even if he doesn't end up in the starting 11. Certainly a player that you can bring on and might be able to get you goals and win you points from the bench. And because he's so young, if Tuchel is impressed with him in pre-season, why sell him when you could loan him out again? But this is another aspect of a transfer window that maybe fans don't consider, and that is the personal toll on a young footballer that doesn't know his future and keeps getting loaned out. And, Broja is only 20 years of age, turns 21 in September. He's already been at Vitesse and then Southampton. So if he gets loaned out another time, that's 3 loans before the age of 21. And he may turn around and say, well, I had a good output in the Premier League. He'll be well aware that Chelsea have got a habit of just sending out players on loan. And he could turn around and say, I just want a permanent move. And then Chelsea have got a decision to make. And I think that, again, is why Thomas Tuchel, especially as he gets more control over transfers, is going to want to look at the player and understand not just the footballer, but the personality before determining what the right approach is. Could Tuchel persuade Broja to do another 6 months out somewhere on loan by selling him the wider Chelsea vision? Or is Tuchel going to look at Broja plus any other potential incomings in that area and say, I think he's surplus to requirement, let's just cash in? And I don't think Chelsea know yet. And then from West Ham's perspective, it's all very well saying he's a top target, and that may well be the case in terms of the admiration coming from David Moyes, but there's been no offer, there's been no formal bid. So this isn't something that's just going to happen in the next week or so. there's no rigid valuation yet that Chelsea have agreed on that they will just sell Broja for, even though 30 million might be the valuation and could have been discussed. Before it gets to the point of Chelsea accepting that kind of offer from a West Ham or another club that may be interested, Napoli are in the mix as well, for example. The first stage is in Tuchel assessing Broja, talking to Broja, understanding it from his perspective as well. And then at that point, a decision will be made on his future. So a transfer to West Ham is not imminent. And you may hear at the West Ham end them saying they're the front runners, and they definitely have him on a short list. But Chelsea are going to keep control of how this pans out.